and welcome back to our channel. We have a little bit of a sit down for you guys today.
Yeah, we just fancy taking the weight off our feet.
A little life update,
Okay.
Baby update, parenting update. We've had, well, I seem to get quite a lot of DMs just asking generally how we're getting on with parenting, how things are going. Because although we seem to vlog so much...
Mila just got into her bed.
Mina's like, bye.
Bye.
I'm not being in this video.
I'm not being near you when you're going to be going, okay? It's going to hurt my ears.
She's gone. Yeah, even though we vlog so much,
yeah,
we don't really take time to like sit down and just talk about like the details of how parenting's going and how things have been going so far. So she's currently how old? 8 weeks.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so she'll be over 8 weeks by the time you guys see this video. I was trying to work out all that logistics. So yeah, she's 8 weeks old, 2 months. I cannot believe it. It's just flown by. And yeah, we're just going to do a little bit of a general parenting review.
We are. But before we get going, this video has been sponsored by Cubo AI, which...
Can you see?
It's over. So if you guys wondering why we have Mila... Mila! Oh my gosh, I called my baby Mila again.
Oh, don't act like you don't do that every day, hun.
Okay, they live in the same part of my brain apparently. It's very common. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in the video.
Was it my dad telling you that?
It's a baby monitor, but it's way more than that, and that's coming in later. So thank you to Cubo AI for sponsoring this video.
It's really cool.
I think my mum goes on about it because she does it constantly with me and my brother, my dad, and like every pet she's ever owned.
Does it.
Just kind of, we just all get called everything.
My dad does it as well, so I wondered if it was my dad. He literally just goes through all of my siblings until he gets to me.
Paul, John, Paul, James.
Right, that's going to be us. Well, it already is you.
Oh, it's already me. It's quite embarrassing. There you go.
So the first thing that we're going to do are 3 things that we both love. We haven't like discussed this yet, but we kind of haven't had a think separately for ourselves. So I've written mine down.
As you'll be able to tell through the video, this is going to be a completely unorganised mess.
An unorganised mess.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried to organise it on my phone, but parent life, yeah, we literally have like 2 minutes to plan our videos now, so we're like, yeah, that's fine. Bye.
It's time for an early afternoon nap. That's usually the longest. Go.
Yeah, parenting's going really well. So 3 things that we love about
I'll get my notes out.
Life at the moment, becoming parents.
Yes. So you go first. You go from the top one. Or does that have to be in order?
Yeah, I'm not going to do them in order. My first one's obviously just boring because I've just bracketed it as happiness. My favourite thing is just how I didn't really think I could love my life any more than I did before I had Amber. And I love my life even more. I literally just beam with happiness, everything about her. I mean, I know it's the same for every parent, like their little stages, their little things that they go through. I mean, she's so young, she's only having tiny little developments at the moment, but each one brings me so much happiness.
Yeah.
Just everything about her brings me so much happiness, and I could just beam thinking about her all day. Yeah,
that's like, I've been slightly more specific. My main one is the joy she brings me from seeing her happy and content.
Yeah.
Just like such a good, warm feeling. Yeah. Like whether like she's kind of been happy all along, or if she's crying, and then you see Carys is kind of like bopping her and you just see her looking over Carys' shoulder, and she's like. And even if she's not smiling, she just looks so looks content. And like it just brings me so much joy. Just
me too.
And sometimes it could be like the middle of the night and like she's keeping us awake, and then like suddenly she'll just kind of like stop crying and she'll be like, oh, and you're like, I just love you so much. Yeah. You can keep me awake all night. I know. Just keep doing whatever. I don't care.
So yeah, that's a good one. I feel like that's quite an obvious one. My second, like general.
Yeah, no.
Which one's that?
I think all of mine are quite obvious, so let's just keep going.
I know. Well, that's why I tried to jazz mine up with the second one.
Okay, go on.
I went for outfits. I know people are going to judge me for this one, to be like, oh, I love my baby's outfits.
Bit of a vain one.
But I do! No, I think it's really like something that I didn't realise would bring me so much happiness in terms of I love fashion, and I love clothes, and I love outfits. And now I just don't care about what I wear. I have to like really like force myself to try and, not just wear black joggers and a black tee every day and just dress my baby in cute outfits, because I care about her so much more. I want to shop for her and dress her cute, and I really like that side of it as well.
That's quite a thing parents like say a lot, isn't it? Is you just stop spending money on yourself.
Yeah, you just all about the baby.
On your, like you'll go out and you'll happily spend 20 quid on an outfit for your baby.
Yeah.
And you'll see a top you like for a tenner and you're like, oh, I know.
I could get a new baby outfit for that, hun. I know.
She's going to be the best dressed kid in the playground.
I do try.
So my other one, I've kind of gone down a very similar theme.
Outfits?
Actually, no, in terms of like all of my three, I've just realised they're literally identical.
No, but that's what it was hard to think because they all bracket into just love and happiness.
So like my other two, which I wrote down, I'll try and think of a bit of a different third, like, you know, vain Carys over here.
Outfits.
My other two is how she smiles at us when she first wakes up.
Yeah, oh my, that is the cutest thing.
And again, it just gives you this feeling of like, you know, we're her everything, she's our everything. And
you're like, good morning, she's like...
Yeah. And I think when she sleeps, you realise how much you miss her. Like, if she sleeps for like an hour or 2 hours during the day, and we've kind of done the few bits and bobs we need to do, we're then there like... She gonna
Wake
get
up!
She's gonna get up? Because all I've got planned for today is play with Amber, bath Amber.
Then she sleeps and I'll do some other things, then play with Amber.
I'll have to cook dinner.
Oh yes. So my third one is how much our friends and family love Amber. Which sounds like an obvious one again, but I wanted to try and think of something that wasn't just the love and happiness she brings, because that just keeps coming to mind.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just, and you're just boring, mate. I tried to jazz it up for her. So yeah, just the love, the amount they want to know, the amount they sort of message, how's she doing, what's she been up to. I just, I've never really had babies within the family that I've been like, you know, so I didn't know how it was going to be and what my friends were going to feel and different things like that. And I just, that's brought me so much happiness, seeing how much other people have just connected with Amber and love her so much and just want to know what she's been up to and how she is and stuff. It's really nice.
Just for a bit of a different one for me, I actually take...
Oh, you're trying now, are you?
I'm trying.
Adding one in, number 4.
I don't think it's quite as vain as outfits, but I think it's that feeling of like sense of purpose. So like kind of like if we've kind of got a day where we have nothing on or something, it's like just kind of by playing and interacting with Amber and kind of like singing her songs. E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some pigs. E-I-E-I-O, with a here and a there. There's a river. And by, you know, like doing the black and white cards, kind of all of that, you feel like, you know, like we are kind of benefiting this baby girl's life.
Definitely.
And kind of hopefully kind of like, you know, helping her to become the person she's going to become, even from those small things early on, like kind of the hand movements you do to try to get them to interact, and the singing and the lip reading and all of that kind of thing.
MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
I've got some...
Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout.
Yeah, this is what I'm
down came...
I'm nowhere near as bad as this, but honestly, I've got some cracking videos on my phone that I do not think needs to be seen by anyone. Please
do not see them.
Of Carys like just going a bit crazy in Amber's face. I
literally read an article like, it's really good to act out the songs you're singing and be really expressionate so they can see your mouth moving, and I'm literally like, Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout, down came...
Honestly, and Amber's just there like...
No, she's not! Yeah, she does that, she goes... And then she goes... Ah!
She does.
She loves it. She absolutely loves it. Otherwise I wouldn't keep doing it if she was literally like petrified. Sometimes I go too far and she's like...
Sometimes, she does have that little look of shock on her face going, not sure who this woman is anymore. She does give me milk, but then is it worth it for this craziness?
Rude! So yeah, that was our 3 things of love. Okay. Love that.
Perfect.
We are going to go on to talk a little bit later on about what we found helpful as parents, but firstly, one thing that we have found really helpful is the baby monitor that we are sponsored by for this video, which is Cubo.
Yes.
What?
No, that's perfect.
I'm starting the collab today.
Go on, Carys.
So yeah, this video is sponsored by Cubo. Cubo is a baby monitor. I'm not going to pan over to it there, but it's really cute. I'm going to pop up some pictures, some videos and all that.
It's so cute when you turn it on and off. It like tweets and stuff.
It's a bird. Tweet, tweet. I feel like Amber loves looking up at it as well. So yeah, baby monitors originally, before we had Amber, I thought we wouldn't get any use out of a baby monitor until she moved into her nursery, because obviously she's at in her bedside crib at the moment by the side of our bed.
Brought down.
Ta-da! To show you the full setup.
I know.
But there are actually so many more things that Cubo does that we have actually been using it from now, since before she's going to move into a nursery. So the 2 things that we love for it are the fact that it gauges the room at the temperature. Is gauge the right word? Yeah.
Gauges the room of the temperature.
Wow, look at me.
No, that wasn't quite phrased. No. Gauges the room temperature.
Gauges the... Oh.
Basically, it tells you the room temperature, and what you can do is you can set kind of your lower limit and your upper limit that you're happy for the room temperature to be, because obviously we know our baby better than anyone else, and then it will send you a notification if it drops below or above.
Yeah, and what kind of temperatures you know that they're happy in or they're safe in or whatever, you can set, because I feel like things like that, especially for first-time parents, it is really like you do worry, and you're like, what's the temperature of the room? Is she okay? Is she too hot? Is she too cold?
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to see, this is the temperature of the room. That don't worry about that, you know, that ticks one thing off your list not to have to panic about if they're crying or if they're fussy or whatever. And then go on.
And then what I really love is we didn't have it from the start, and I really struggled, especially early on, that if she was gurgling like in her sleep, which doesn't necessarily mean they're awake. Like, it's crazy how much noise babies make, and at the start you're not really too sure what's right. Turns out everything's right. Rather than having to try and stand up from the bed and look over to the bedside cot myself, I could just look on my phone on the app, and I really like that now, and I wish I had it really early on.
I love that feature.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly one of the best features. Like, if you are on the other side of the bed, it is quite an effort to move around, and you know, dads get anxious too. I can just wake up and peer into the... Even if you wake up and she's silent, sometimes you just want to peer in and check she's okay.
Yeah.
So being able to just look at the monitor and see her there, happy as Larry in a crib, is really sort of nice.
Definitely. But there's loads of other functions that we're kind of really looking forward to using in the future, like Cara said, when she goes into her own room in her own cot. So you can basically, obviously you set it up using a stand, or it can clip to the cot, or you can just have kind of a mobile thing that it goes on, and you have a mobile app, and it's really good definition on the app, isn't it? And you can actually do it so that you keep the sound on even when you're not using the app. So if you wanted to still use your phone for other things, you could hear if she started crying kind of straight away, which is really handy.
I think that's really good, because one thing that I've heard a lot of people say about monitors they've used is it's really hard. You have to, if you have it on your phone, you're like, oh yeah, it's on the app. You have to keep up the app 24/7, and you can't actually go on your phone. So I really like that feature.
And then other features is you kind of can set a zone for where the cot is, and also it can detect then if you're using a blanket for your baby, whether it's covering its mouth, or the baby's flipped onto the front, and they can send you a warning, which is very cool. You can also take photos of the screens and recordings. You can kind of backtrack, which is really handy. Anyway, thank you so much to Cubo for sponsoring this video. Cubo AI, we'll kind of leave all the details and the links in the description. So yeah, shout out to them.
Thank you.
And Amber's now waking up, so
I know.
We'll have to give her a cuddle for the rest of the video, I think. Which is such a shame.
What a shame.
So what's the next question?
So the next one we're doing is what we have struggled with.
Should we try and rock her back to sleep?
She's very sleepy, but we can have her out.
She hasn't been napping for long, has she? So maybe we should I'll give her a rock, and if she gets fussy, we can pick her up.
Because I feel like she's still...
She does look as if she wants to go back to sleep.
Does she?
Yeah.
Okay. Things that we've struggled with since becoming parents, having her and everything like that. So my first one is crying. I struggle with her crying a lot more than I thought I would, because I know that all babies cry, and I know that it's a very normal thing for them to do, and it wasn't really something that was on my mind before having her. But her cry makes me feel really anxious, really flustered, and maybe it might even be because she's not a very crybaby, so I haven't had a lot of exposure to it.
Yeah.
So maybe I haven't had that time to get used to it.
Yeah.
So I do really struggle when she, say, is going through a leap, or she's just having a little bit of a fussy stage, or she's just, you know, witching hours come among us, and she's crying and stuff. It really upsets me, and it leaves me in a bit of a fluster. So yeah, I talked about that one time in Starbucks when I was feeding her, and she was really unsettled and really fussy, and it left me feeling a bit, I need to debrief from this, because I get so sort of upset and het up when she cries, even though I don't know why, because every baby cries, and it's really just their way of communicating with you, but I can't seem to sort of wrap my head around that.
I think that was one of my three as well, was the small amount of unknown, uncontrolled crying. Yeah. And I think it's kind of, like Cara said, she's not a particularly crying baby. And I think there's two emotions that kind of I feel when she cries, and you just don't know why. One is, you know, that you feel really sad and upset because you just want to be able to make her feel better, and you're kind of cuddling her and holding her, and you're thinking, like, does she hate me right now because I'm not giving her what she wants? And then the other one is just like, just be quiet. Just stop crying. Why are you crying? And you get a bit like flustered, and you're like, just stop crying.
Stop.
Like, why are you crying? It's like, as an adult, you don't understand. It's like, either just tell me what you want, or stop crying.
I know. You get to that stage, don't you?
It's like after, you know, you're rocking there at like 1 a.m. after 3 hours of not going to sleep, and you're like, just stop crying right now. There's just no need, Amber.
Just stop.
Just stop.
You'll be alright. We can have a cutch and it'll all be fine. Yeah, let's give her a cutch now.
Hello. Oh, look at you matching with Mummy.
I know. She's currently going through her second leap, so she's a little bit fussy, a little bit more unsettled than usual. And yeah, her first leap was pretty spot on. She had it for a couple of days and then she completely went back to normal. Hi, my gorgeous.
I think she wants a feed.
Hi, my gorgeous. Can I see you?
Mummy.
Can I see
you? See you all the time.
Hi, look at our matching outfits. Look at our matching outfits.
So, Amber's been having a feed and stuff, and we've been chilling. She is fighting sleep at the moment. She doesn't want to go down. It's strange, you don't have to ask me twice to go to sleep.
She's not in the mood for sleep.
If I have time for a nap, you know, there's no fighting it from James.
Especially in the moment.
Exactly. So, yes, she might start wiggling and rambling, and we might have a very cutty video, but let's see how it goes. She's so cute.
She's so tired as well. Like, she just keeps smiling and then going, no, I don't want to sleep.
No, Mum's too ill.
No. And that's really unusual for her because she usually goes down for her naps, right? Look at her eyes.
I know.
So I did crying. That upset me. Had you done
Yes, I've also done crying, and I'll do my next one. And my next one was I think I struggled more kind of really early on. I don't know what I was expecting with the baby. I was expecting more kind of like this, like she is now, like freaking adorable. She was always adorable. You know when you always got to catch yourself.
I know.
She's freaking adorable now. Wait, she was always.
I know, especially on social media, because you say one like tiny thing, like a little bit wrong, and people are like,
oh, such a shame you didn't find your child adorable when it was first born.
I know, literally.
You can't say anything right in these type of videos.
I know, you're always kind of like catching yourself, and you're like, no, I don't mean it in a bad way though. Because when you have a general conversation with each other, you obviously don't take it badly. Anyway.
No, exactly.
I think what I struggled on really early on is kind of the connection that I felt I had to Amber. And I've spoken to a couple of other dads about this who kind of felt the same, but really early on it was very much a case of she'd wake for a feed and then she'd go back to sleep. And I felt like, and also if she was crying and it was kind of unknown crying and she'd had a feed and she had a clean nappy and stuff, I struggled that I really didn't feel like I had that connection to her that obviously Carys as her mum did. And I felt like kind of when you dream of having a baby, you dream of having, you know, you have your first son or your daughter or whatever, and you're kind of like, you just assume that you're going to have that instant connection and kind of instant, you know, like overwhelming feeling. And I just struggled with the fact that I didn't feel as connected to her. I obviously did. I felt like I loved her from the start and I felt like massive care towards her. But there was like, I didn't feel like she wanted or needed me. Well, like obviously as the mum, you feel like she does want to need you.
Yeah, I think especially as newborn, like you said, all they really do is all they really do is kind of cry and then feed. And a lot of the time she would just be settled by feeding from me.
Yeah, like I'd be rocking her trying to settle her and she would just be having none of it, and then kind of she'd go on the boob and she'd fall asleep. So
I felt connection through that feeding process, which I think it is really hard. And like James said, we've spoken to people that have felt exactly the same, and if you are feeling that way, definitely look it up because it's such a big thing that the dad's connection does come and grow. It can just take a little bit longer sometimes. Maybe it didn't for you, maybe it did, but that's just really normal if you or your partner are feeling that at the moment.
And like from the start, I took kind of great joy in holding her and kind of loving her and cuddling her. But like now, kind of that she's a bit more interactive, and like we said, we sing to her and we read to her and kind of she smiles back at us, and kind of that is really kind of like heart fluttering, I'm going to call it. And so like definitely the connection I have with her now is like so incredibly strong, when at the start it was a bit more like, oh, this isn't what I expected, like I don't really know, I don't think you want me, or I don't think you need me, and you feel a bit lost. I did as a dad. And maybe I gave her a bottle once when she was like 5 weeks old, just to kind of trial her out, because the midwife said to trial her on a bottle before 6 weeks to see if she'll take it. And she did, and instantly then I felt that little bit of connection, and I felt like, you know, I'm providing her with something that she wants and needs, and she seems so content and so happy and appreciative. So maybe like bottle-fed babies from the start, if your baby's on formula, maybe then if you share that with your dad or with another half or whatever, then maybe then the dad does feel that kind of connection earlier on, but maybe it's more because you were breastfeeding. But yeah, anyway,
and each week
that's
it's
something
just
I struggle
grown.
with. Yeah,
and I've seen you change and her change, and your connection grows a lot more rapidly, whereas mine's pretty like stable.
And early on my responsibility was making sure her clothes were washed and kind of the stuff like that, because I struggled with that kind of like, you know, like making, like helping her go to sleep and stuff, and she didn't really have any awake time, when now like I take full responsibility for some of her awake time, and we sing and we have, fun. We have fun together.
You do the fun awake time. She's like, Daddy awake time, because he sings and does nursery rhymes. Like, I do good awake time with her still, but I'm very much like, you know, on the mat, whereas you're always doing really sort of lovely, intense wake times. You are really...
Anyway, so that was the struggle, was like really early on, that kind of not instant connection, instant strongest connection that I thought I'd have.
Well done for talking about that, because it's not easy.
It's hard to talk about, isn't it? Because like I said, it's not what you assume or think. But
exactly.
I think it's also putting it out there, because after speaking to other dads who said they felt the same, and then it grows and grows and grows, and it's kind of not to be ashamed if that's... Sorry, the battery went out and I have no idea what we were talking about.
Me too. Should I go on to my second one?
Yes, go on to your second one.
So my second one was relationship changes. I think I kept saying to James really early on, like, I'm just mourning our relationship a little bit. Like, obviously you don't want it any other way, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still a change and it's still a struggle. You just punched yourself in the face. Going from... obviously everything being about us on a daily basis. How have you been? What are you up to? James and Carys. So suddenly I kept explaining it to James as we're now working on this project. We're working together on this other thing, and it's not about us anymore. It's about this, which is how we want it to be and how we love it to be. But it's just mourning that, you know, part of our relationship, which was solely about each other and has been that way for 7 years. So again, it's something that you can feel quite shameful towards, that, you know, oh, I shouldn't be mourning it because this is what I wanted and this is... And sorry, she's been pulling down my top and that was just like all over the place. Even though that is what you want, you can still feel a bit lost and a bit like, oh, this is an adjustment, and I miss, you know, everything being about us and all of our cuddles, and I do, and I get to replace them with you.
No, not replace.
We get to...
Add
we
on.
still try and make time for them,
I think that's the thing. We had big discussions, not big discussions, but we had discussions about, you know, are we ready for a baby? Do we want a baby now? And timescales and stuff. And like you know, don't you, that the relationship's going to massively change, and you know it's going to completely change forever, because even when they're 18 plus and going to university or moving out or whatever they're doing in the world, you're still thinking about them, and you're still kind of more often than not putting them first, putting them before, you know, each other and yourself, especially before yourself. And so we
so
did
even though you know,
so you know it's coming, but
it's not a shock. It wasn't something that I wasn't expecting, but it was still a bit of mourning and a bit of, you know, I miss that, and it's just something new to adapt to, and not let it make you feel like your relationship is less than it was before. So it's really hard not to feel that, because you have less time for each other. There's way less time to be intimate, to cuddle. You know, it's not all about you guys anymore, and that change can feel like a negative, when actually it is just different, and there's a big difference between change and, you know, stepping back in your relationship, and it's not a step back, it's a step forward, as a family rather than just two of us. So.
It's like, even now you're talking, I am listening, but at the same time I'm like...
Oh, I know. That's exactly what I mean, hun. There's just no time for us anymore.
So what was my third?
Oh, your third one.
So mine was then a really basic one. The third one is kind of... which kind of like roll together, is that obviously we actually are getting incredibly good sleep for a newborn, and so I would never kind of really say this is a negative, but at the same time we are obviously sleeping less than what we were before she came. And she is waking up once or twice, sometimes 3 times during the night. And obviously that's going to be something you struggle with, it's kind of adapting to that less sleep. And also, because we're sleeping less, we're trying to go to bed earlier, which is then kind of taken away from our night times, and kind of that was something that Caris and I used to really love, was kind of staying up late-ish and watching a movie and cuddling on the sofa and stuff like that. But not a major struggle, but one that I thought I'd include as my third one. Nappy explosion! Cuckoo!
Silent but deadly.
Okay, so Amber, we think, is going to sleep. I'm just going to keep rocking.
So we just changed her, poo explosion.
It was a bit of a poo explosion.
And she was refusing to sleep earlier, do you know, for a nap. So she's like really tired now. So we're hoping she's going to go down because she really needs a nap. So yeah, parent life.
I know.
It's happening.
We're going to try and get this video did.
So I think I was going on to my second one. No, I did relationship change. Did you do a third one or second one? I can't remember what we were talking about. Anyway, my third struggle was lifestyle change. So this is a pretty good example of a lifestyle change. So a video like this before Amber would have probably, well, it takes us the amount of time that the video, like literally just the length of the video. So whether it was we spoke for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, that's how long it would take us to film the video pretty much. Whereas now I think it's coming on, I don't know, maybe 2 hours?
Yeah,
2.5 hours that we've been filming, just because we're stopping, changing a nappy, making sure she's okay, feeding and doing all of that in between. Again, wouldn't have it any other way, but it's just a lifestyle change to adjust to. Most days I wouldn't, like, our job is obviously so flexible, and you're home with me. The difference between what we get compared to what a lot of other people get is amazing, and we are so grateful every day for that. But just the general like lifestyle changes is what I struggle with more so, like not being able to just go down to the gym whenever I fancy. Things are possible, they just need your, you know, they're possible if you prioritise them. So you can't kind of go to the gym, come back, do a bit of arts and crafts, then do this, then do that. You've got to kind of pick one thing that you want to do and prioritise it for the day, and you can get it done if you prioritise things, but it's not the same lifestyle of just getting up and doing what you want, obviously. Again, it's not something we didn't know going into having a baby, but it's still something that you mourn and something that you have to take time to adjust to, and some days are harder than others, and some days you just kind of feel, oh, I just want to go down the road to TGI Fridays and then go to the gym and do this and
everything that. It's just more like when we went away this week, and it was kind of like, you know, whenever we went out for food, it's amazing because she is very adaptable. And like we said, she's not a particularly crying baby, so we can get her to sleep in a pushchair. She will sleep for an hour, but like you have to, before you go for food, try to get her to sleep so that she's going to be sleeping when she's in the restaurant, etc, etc. So it's just, everything's a bit more effort, and everyone was right. Everyone used to say before, didn't they, like, you never pack light with a baby. We've got quite a big car, and we still struggle taking everything we need for literally 2 nights away. Her pushchair, like a cot, you know, everything. Clothes for us, clothes for her, car seat. It's crazy how much stuff you need for like a simple getaway, and I feel like that's just going to get more and more when she gets older. Because right now we literally take some black cards to entertain her along with our singing, along with our beautiful voices. When in the future they're going to need all sorts of toys to entertain them. Yeah,
it's going to get packed to that car.
And we've got quite a big car, and I'm already like, I think we might need a bigger car.
I feel like the bigger the car though, the more you fill it.
Yeah,
so like whatever you've got, you just kind of fill. It's like a house. However big your house or your garage or your storage rooms, you end up just filling them. So,
but it's like with Mila, we literally take a pushchair in the boot. We have a pushchair and Mila, and like nothing else can fit. Anyway, that's another story.
Lifestyle changes. That was my third one that I struggled with.
I did my third one.
You did already. So the other thing we wanted to talk about was the things that we found helpful. So things that we felt have really sort of helped our parenting journey and been really, really good with Amber and everything like that. So I'd say the swaddles, she's wearing one now. Swaddling is something that we've found amazing. Amber loves it. It just like replicates the womb. It keeps them safe. It's really like recommended. I know things change all the time and views change and everyone's got their own opinion on everything, but we love swaddling along with so many other parents.
We did a course beforehand, didn't we? And it was like, you know, it does look as if babies don't like swaddling. Like my parents who come to see my dad, it's like, oh, she looks like she doesn't want to be swaddled.
Because they wriggle a lot. And they can look like they're trying to wriggle out of their swaddle, but really they're just wriggling and sort of moving about is a way that they sort of self-settle themselves and get into a groove of, you know, getting tired. It's like when I get into bed, I wriggle around and do stuff like that. So anyway, Swaddle's great. A feeding pillow, I've really enjoyed this, saved my back. I didn't have one when I first brought her home, and I was holding her and using pillows and random cushions and things like that. Got a feeding pillow. It was amazing, so I really recommend that.
Yes, that was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, we didn't have it when we came home. We bought it, and then we forgot where we put it, and it took us like a week to find.
I know! That was a bad time. The other thing is our mat with the black and white sensory play. The black and white sensory play has been amazing.
Yes.
So anything black and white toys, her black and white book we take with us everywhere. She just loves it. You can see her focusing, you can see her concentrating. If you don't know what that's about, that's young babies up to 12 weeks they can see in black and white, so they find black and white things really stimulating and really interesting until they can see in colour and see more of the world as it is. But yeah, anything black and white, so like when I wear my black and white top like this, she kind of stares at it and is fascinated by it. So all the kind of black and white sensory stuff that we have has been really, really amazing for her wake time. Her sling, so her around the house sling, we haven't actually made that much use of because generally she's quite a settled baby and goes down for her naps and then sort of has a wake time and we don't really need to use it. But I found on the odd occasion where she's having a witching hour and I just want to, you know, tidy the house and do the washing and things like that, putting them in the sling. They feel close to you, they've got skin on skin. It's amazing. And I know for more fussy babies, so many people on Instagram just swear by the slings and they love them. So I really think that's a good one. And then we've also got not a sling, but a carrier, which we take on walks, which you often carry her on the walks. And that's, again, really nice for you to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that. And it's great kind of going out on the dog walk and being able to do the more, you know, we didn't obviously do it very early on, but once you feel a bit more confident, you can do kind of the forestry walks and stuff where it's really quite difficult with a pushchair. So yeah, that's been pretty amazing. To be able to take Mila on her same walks kind of all together has been nice.
Definitely. White noise machines. Babies are different. Some like it, some don't. She really likes, well, to be honest, we never really tried without.
It's just popped up on my watch saying, looks like you're doing a elliptical workout. I don't even know what an elliptical workout is.
Because you're going like that.
Because I'm going like this.
Yes, I'm doing a workout.
Yes, I do feel exhausted. My heart rate is up.
It does feel like a workout. Oh, her white noise machines. So we got a little one from Amazon, which is portable, and we got one which plugs in upstairs. She really likes white noise. And yeah, you just kind of pop it on. Again, we use sounds that replicate sounds that happen in the womb, even just using your mouth, like shh. That really settles her as well. It's all sounds that replicate how your body sounds inside. It's like all your blood rushing through your organs and everything like that.
I think on the white noise, it's good to kind of look up online and kind of make your own parental decision on it, because like it's recommended by almost all kind of course people who kind of help you to have your baby sleeping, but there hasn't been loads and loads of tests on kind of how it might affect hearing, etc, etc. But at the same time, they're very, very confident it won't affect hearing. Yeah. But it's just good to look at how loud you should have it and how far from the cot, because that wasn't something we did from the very, very start. No. And something we kind of learned as we went along, that actually it should be below a certain volume and a certain distance from the cot. So yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's the same with everything. Slings, carriers, you just have to look things up and make your own decisions on them. Everyone's got different opinions on what's good for the baby and what's not. Obviously there's safety things that actually everyone should follow, but for a lot of things as well, you have to make your own decision and just go with that as a parent. You know your baby. Yeah, the other things we found really helpful were the courses that we did. Just finding, there's loads of courses out there. There's loads of people on Instagram, sleep specialists, loads of people like that do courses. And yeah, I've done a couple. Oh, bless it. Of different courses online and stuff. I love doing them, and they give me so much insight to the science and everything behind babies and their sleep cycles and why they respond to this and do this. And no,
she's fast asleep. So yeah, I would say to give the one big piece of advice that I learned from all the courses in general that I did was to follow people follow different types of routines. Some people want to go really strict with the routine. Some people want to have absolutely no routine or schedule or whatever you want to call it. We kind of did a rough schedule of following what the courses recommend, which is your baby goes to sleep, your baby wakes up, they feed, and I try to feed after the nap before she's crying, just because they feed a lot more effectively. Well, she does anyway. Well, she does, yeah. Yeah. Everything I'm talking about is just from her point of view, which I know isn't helpful for some people, but that's all I can share really. yeah, she wakes up, she has a really lovely feed, then we have a wake time. It's so tempting, especially when they're, you know, this age. They love to be sleepy after they feed. And what I found early on was I kind of ignored the stuff I'd learned on the course. I was like, oh no, she wants to sleep now. And so she'd feed, she'd go to sleep, and I'd be like, great, she's going to get an hour nap. But she'd only ever have about 10 to 20 minutes of that feedy sleep, sleepy feed sleep.
The full sleep, like we all fancy a good sleep after a Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
You don't really
But it's
want
like
to
a
sleep.
fake.
You're just it's a full sleep.
And it only lasts a little bit, and then they're awake, and then you're kind of like stressed out because they didn't nap long enough and all this and all that. So I found when I got into a bit more of a, yes, I'll let her nap after a feed if she wants. It's a baby-led schedule or whatever we do. But then I'll try and have some awake time with her. They have very short periods of awake time, 30 minutes to 60 minutes, you know, just playing with them, interacting with them. And then that makes them sleepy. They've got a full stomach, they've had awake time, they're stimulated, then they have a really good nap. That's what's worked well for her. Every baby is different.
So we always say we do a baby-led schedule.
Yeah.
So kind of obviously if she's very fussy and we know she wants a feed, we're not going to kind of force
Like,
it.
look, does it look like we've stuck to a schedule today?
Today's
No.
been a bit all over the place.
If the schedule works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's great.
That's when you have to be kind to yourself.
Exactly, and just go with it.
I was going to say something that I thought was really good. So when we started off our parenting journey, we had just the snooze pod, which is a really great bedside crib. And we were saying that we were going to bring that downstairs during the day. And I think it's quite not an extreme. I know a lot of people have Moses baskets as their bedside cribs, which are also great, no doubt. But we did then decide to get a Moses basket to kind of use downstairs and then just have her snooze pod by our bed. And I definitely think having that Moses basket has been a big help because it is more mobile than a bedside crib. And also, I wonder if kind of, obviously we brought it down here for this video because of the Cubo sponsorship, but I wonder if that also helps her know the difference between day and night. The fact that she has a completely separate bed that she only goes into when it's kind of night time and she never sleeps in it during the day. But yeah, I thought that's definitely something that I'd recommend. And I think it's quite, obviously it is quite expensive to have both a Moses basket and a bedside crib, which, you know, isn't possible for everyone, but I don't know, I think that's been really good for us, having both of those options.
Again, it wasn't something we did straight away, but once we did it, we were like, that was really, really helpful and did help us have her naps in safer spaces downstairs and things like that,
And to be able to easily take the Moses basket to the kitchen and then bring it back, you know, put it on the kitchen table, take the stand with us.
That's, you know, a little bit more
it's just more
drastic.
I think I scratched the wall so many times bringing it up and down the stairs, so I thought that I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then the last one I would say is the Wonder Weeks app, which is about their leaps, if you ever hear us talking about leaps. Again, leaps is something that some people think is complete nonsense and isn't real and stuff like that, and that's fine. Again, everyone just takes what they take and believes what they believe and do what they do. But if you are finding that, you know, you're interested in looking at things and you want to have a look at the app, it's the Wonder Weeks app, and it talks about babies when their leaps are, and it predicts, and it's like your leap's coming up, blah, 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 and it helps you understand why your baby might be being fussy and why, and understanding why she goes through these stages and then just completely turns back to, you know, sunshine and happiness constantly is really helpful for those times when they're crying and they cannot be settled, and you're understanding why they're going through that and how they're seeing the world and how things are changing for them, because things are changing so quickly for them. It's really overwhelming, and so knowing that just really helps you connect with them during that time when they're struggling.
Yeah, so when you say people don't necessarily believe in it, is that kind of more of a scientific thing that some people believe in it and some scientists don't, or is it more kind of just opinions of the parents? Because you wonder if some babies don't actually, like some babies don't really react to their leaps, which is why some parents don't, which is fair enough. But she seems to be quite...
This is the thing, when I only say that because when I posted about it on Instagram, some people messaged me saying, oh, this was disproven, this whole theory was disproven by someone. But then lots of people, I don't know whether then that means someone proved it and someone disproved it or not, but
was it ever proven in the same place? In the first place?
For her, it seems to
it's when they know you kid yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, she's fussy today. Oh, she's going through a leap, that's why. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a difference. Yeah.
And she was just over it then, the last leap. Yeah, anyway, one of those. You don't get too fixated on anything really, because you don't really know
so much of parenthood is just kind of taking it as it comes.
Yeah.
And like any plans we do make, which obviously can't make much because of COVID, you kind of keep them very open-ended. You know, we're kind of like, yeah, we may be there, we may be an hour late, we may be, you know, if we kind of like say we're going to meet someone out and about at like 3, we're like, oh, we'll aim to be there at 2. We could be there any time between 1:30 and 4. And we'll just
or we may never turn up.
And people are usually really good with kind of new parents to be flexible. All of our friends and family are anyway. And the same with kind of doing like the collabs and stuff we're doing. Like everyone's really flexible and it's really lovely kind of. Because it's just so unpredictable. You have good days, you have bad days, you have good hours, you have bad hours.
Definitely.
They're never bad. They're never bad. More
challenging.
More challenging.
Challenge. We love a challenge. Challenge accepted. So yeah, they're all the things that we found really helpful. The last one I had on here was the sun window protector thing that James bought.
Yes, again, learn on the job. We've got sun protective glass, so I'm sure that the sun wouldn't have damaged her skin. I don't know though. But yes, it just added an extra layer.
Where did you get it from?
Just from Amazon. I got one that kind of pulled over the door rather than stuck on the window, because I heard the ones that stuck on the window fall off quite easily.
What was it called? Do you remember? How to look it up? Like a window
I'll pop a
protector?
screenshot up here.
No, you won't.
Yeah,
You'll forget.
I'll pop a screenshot up here. Beth, our editor, if you could make
I
sure
hope that screenshot's
we remember
there.
to send you a screenshot to pop up.
I always say that and it never pops up.
So yeah, and it's good because it goes over the door, and then you can open the window, you know, if you wanted to, with it on.
And then we just had some points of things that were different than what we thought they were going to be. So I've got a couple here. I've put more sleep than I thought. Again, that is baby by baby, and that just happens to be for this specific baby. More sleep than I thought. Less sick than I thought. So I have a bit of a phobia of sick. Well, I wouldn't say it's not a full-blown phobia at all, but it's...
Not anymore.
Not
maybe
anymore.
It was in the past.
Yeah, maybe it was in the past. And I'd only been sick once in my whole life before my first trimester, when I was unfortunately a bit sick as well. I really struggle with being sick. The whole kind of concept around it, other people being sick, it makes me very anxious and very nervous. And I do still get very, very flustered when she is milk sick. It's so normal for a baby to bring up milk. It's like the most natural, normal thing for them to do. And I do still really panic every time, just because I have that you know, built into my brain. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. So I really do panic when that happens to her, even though she'll literally like bring up milk and then be like laughing, and I'm like,
it's just, they literally is so, well, she's so unfazed about it.
No, it's getting your head around that it's normal for babies. But anyway, so she's only been less sick, because I thought they did that every time they drank, and every time you burped them they kind of a little bit of sick. But I think in total she's done it 3 or 4 times now. One big one the other day. That was the biggest one yet.
Funny, wasn't it?
All over me.
Yeah, I guess 2 biggish ones.
Yeah, 2 big ones, 2 little ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was much less sick than I thought. And it's not really sick, it's like milky sick, isn't it?
But because of that, kind of, we always have muslins, but Carys never puts them over her shoulder and stuff. So she's there burping her, thinking, well, obviously she's not going to be sick. She's never sick. And then, like, every now and then, like, literally 4 times, she will, like, be sick all over Carys' outfit, and it's like, right, serves me right for not popping a cloth over that shoulder.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, I struggled with my body more than I thought I would. I know I've spoken about this in, I think, a previous video. But yeah, only because I thought, you know, I had come a long way with my self-love and self-acceptance journey up to this point, like with my weight gain and everything. Like, I'd literally gone from like a size 6 to a size 12. And I'd come a long way with that, feeling really good. So I thought, you know, and pregnancy and stretch marks and everything, that was all good. And then I gave birth, and then, you know, I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to just be like self-loving and all that. And it just wasn't the way it was. It's been more of a struggle for me. And so it's just pushing my self-love and acceptance to the next level. And I'm okay to go with that challenge and keep learning and keep pushing to the next level, because there's always going to be challenges in life when it comes to self-love and acceptance. You're never going to stay the same shape for the whole of your life. So we're all going to go through it at one point. And yeah, I'm just kind of learning and pushing that more and accepting that challenge. But that's definitely been something that I thought would be different. And also, we can still do things that we love. I had a very negative mindset before she came.
And you would say quite a lot at the end of pregnancy, to like make the most of it, because we're never ever going to be able to
do this again.
You know, tie our shoelaces again. Like, it's a really basic thing.
We're never going to be able to go away for a night, and we literally have been away 3 times. She's been to 3 hotels already, and she's just adaptable. Again, that might be different for future babies, and it's definitely, all babies are different, of course, but yeah, that was something that I was very negative about before she came, and I'm very different to how I visioned it. You know, she's coming along on our life adventure, and I'm so grateful for that.
That was the point of that quote, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Our baby's ready to join our adventure. She's coming along with us.
Oh god, that makes me emotional.
She's coming along with us until she can talk, and then we're going along with her.
Yeah, then everywhere she's like, I want to go to Folly Farm, and we're like, okay, again, for the 5th weekend in a row, let's go to Folly Farm.
It's not that we're going to be pushovers.
Yes, we will. Yes, we 100% will. Have you seen us with Mila?
Oh gosh, I know.
Right, so that is it. I honestly don't know how long this video was.
I think we started to think this will be about 15 minutes.
Probably about 5 hours knowing us and how much we talk. Thank you guys for watching. I know the structure and our whole channel and everything has changed and adapted since Amber's arrival, and the support and everything has just been unreal. So can't thank you enough for that, and we really hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you very soon in the next one. Love you guys so much.
We should have to thank everyone.
She's fast out now.
I know.
No, she not.
Just wanted some loving.
Bye guys, love you.
Thanks for watching. See you soon.